Welcome back to the channel, guys. We are currently traversing the Madigan line in the Simpson Desert in Central Australia. Currently in Queensland, actually. Just been searching for camels, haven't found any quite yet. We have just left Camp 19 and we're heading towards Camp 18 where we'll probably set up for the day.
Yeah, it's so remote here, it's so beautiful. Like, we really like the Simpson Desert so far. We've been both pleasantly surprised, so yeah, can't wait to see what's next.
This is like a quintessential Australian safari. It's so cool. Yeah. Lots of wildlife out, lots of beautiful wildflowers. It's really stunning out here at this time of year. There are still lots of flies though, but luckily when we're driving, it's not so bad. That was the softest one we've had so far in the Madigan. Still did it easy in third gear. Got our first sign of camels. Yeah, okay, and you put your hand in here because I've got a pretty big hand.
It's huge.
Massive. Cool. Alright, well now we just got to see the real thing. Truck heading westbound on the Madigan line, Preston.
Madigan line call-up, Unimog heading westbound, cresting. Yeah! I got a bit nervous before. I did it twice and I did the mistake twice. This time was much better. So proud. Alright, I give you back the gym. And now we crest. Oh! There might be someone nearby. We're actually not too sure what's our range with the antenna right now. Usually when it's not very clear like that, people are quite far away and it gets clearer and clearer. But it's a bit tricky, this track, compared to the QA where we started yesterday. There's no actually call-up point markers, so you actually don't know where you are compared to the other people. So yeah, you just have to keep reminding yourself to do those call-ups, because we actually passed one car that didn't do it, and luckily we were going quite slow and there was no issue. Just have to remind him very politely that to remind to do the call-up, because that's really important.
Yeah. We have made it to Camp 18 on the Madigan line. We just had lunch. It's about 2 p.m. now. Angie's feeling a bit sleepy, so she's going to have a little nap, and I am going to first of all go find the Madigan marker, and then I'm probably going to chop some firewood and have an early fire tonight. I think I'm cooking steak on a little braai. So I'm really looking forward to that, but we've got so much firewood and haven't had a fire yet, so I'll probably start the fire quite early. Seeing lots and lots of camel tracks, but still haven't actually seen an animal. It's just such a huge area. It is so vast. There's something along the lines of 1,100 parallel sand dunes in the Simpson Desert. We've probably crossed 30 or 40 and it feels like 100, so I can't imagine 1,100. There's certainly camels around, but man, it's going to be hard finding some. The flies are much better today. There's a slight breeze. They're just not bad at all, and I think that's partially because we've left the station now. Been having a wander around. I'm kind of also hoping if I can find a camel skull, it would be awesome. But I have not found anything yet. And I'm being very careful because I'm quite a long way from the truck on my own, but I'm making sure I've got landmarks to guide me back to the MOG, because if you walk a K in either direction, you're going to be lost forever. So got to be really careful. But all good so far. Just a bunch of locusts, some flies, a few little desert dragon style lizards, and that's about it. But I'm picking up my footsteps now and heading on back. About 5 PM now, lit the fire, so now I'm going to start putting some wood on and just get a nice bed of coals for the braai in an hour or so. Alright, time for an early dinner for me. We are going to use our Osbraai travel braai for the first time, which I'm very excited about. Super small and compact, which we love because we don't cook on the fire very often, so we don't need anything really elaborate and big. Yeah, awesome stainless setup. And tonight,
Ta-da-dum!
I have got nice big T-bone steak, seasoned with some fresh garlic and some salt and a couple of frozen hash browns. So that is going to be my feed. So I'll set this up and start cooking on the coals. Super easy to set up. It's just 3 pieces. So you got your main support, then you've got your locking ring just to keep it nice and stable, and then you can either put this on here or on the top, so you got 2 levels. Really good. It's gonna cook so fast. Awesome.
So Chris is having an early dinner with a fire. I don't eat red meat, so that's why I'm not cooking with him. I might cook with a fire tomorrow night for us, but tonight I just have some leftovers in the fridge. With the Simpsons, I didn't plan lots of like amazing yummy food, so yeah, tonight's gonna be quite boring for me. He's got like the luxury food tonight for him.
Yeah.
The ultimate gentleman boys night.
Solo boys night.
I just said it's fun. Oh, this is great. Oh no! You saved the hash brown.
Save the hash brown.
That's the most important thing.
Man, this is gonna be so good.
Oh.
Caveman mode. Give me them aminos.
Very hygienic gloves.
Yeah.
Perfection. Boom.
Boof.
Alright, and dessert tonight will be on the fire. Something that can be done as on induction, but it's so much better on the fire. Just like some canned pineapple, roasted with some cinnamon. So good. I'll put them all there, without burning myself, preferably. Good morning from day 3 in the Simpson Desert. We had such a peaceful night of sleep here in Madigan Camp 18. We were actually pleasantly surprised that we were by ourselves here. We were not joined by any car. We haven't heard anyone passing. So really nice feeling to be that remote and to be by ourselves. So nice morning. We decided we were not going to drive straight away for sunrise. Instead, we decided to stay here, watch the sunrise, which was beautiful this morning. There was a few clouds in the sky, a beautiful pink glow. And then we had another fire this morning that Chris made. Now we're having breakfast. We are running out of eggs, unfortunately, because I was expecting to have some in Birdsville. So I just made hash brown and baked beans for Chris. And for me, just an apple protein porridge with lots of nuts and cinnamon. So quite a nice breakfast to start the day. How are you feeling today? You're doing a little bit of maintenance this morning, some few checks on the mug.
Yeah, we'll transfer fuel from the auxiliary into the main tank soon. I'll check the fluid in the transmission just to be safe. I'll check the oil levels again. And I'm just trying to fix up the shoe basket on the door. That thing's been annoying me, so I'm making that a bit more permanent. Yeah, just little bits and pieces.
Another thing to note as well, you may have realized that we didn't have a drone for quite a few episodes in the past because I broke the drone when I flew it in a tree. And I'm so glad that we got it back for The Simpsons, because flying the drone here really makes you appreciate all the landscape around you. It's just so vast and huge. So I'm very, very grateful that Chris managed to fix the drone. I just bought like the part, and like a champion with no experience like usual, he managed to fix it.
So the motor on one of the arms was all busted up, so Ange bought a new arm which was only like $90, and then we pulled the drone apart and I soldered the arm back onto the circuit board, and yeah, it seems to be perfect. So that saved spending what, like something like $2,000.
Oh my god, yes.
Instead it was $90 and just a couple of hours maybe of work, and it was done.
Yay, champion. It's another skill you can add to the list.
I can be a drone repairman. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let's see if I've fixed the drone ski. Turns on, so that's a bonus. Here we go.
That's the river.
I got a drone. Got a drone for The Simpsons.
So yeah, we're just gonna stay here a little bit longer. Yesterday we drove just over 50 kilometers. Today we're probably gonna do even less than that, just to the next camp. Really appreciate this area, and yeah, we'll see how we go.
Just met a very nice man who has been following the channel since the Jeep days. Sorry man, I didn't catch your name. You had that awesome 79 series cruiser. Pleasure to meet you, and especially cool to be seeing you out here in the middle of nowhere on the Madigan line. So the dune driving here on the Madigan has actually been really simple. So we've got 25 psi in the front, 30 psi on the rear. When we did Big Red, or attempted to get up the hard ones on Big Red, we had 20 on both. I wouldn't want to go any lower than that because I'll be worried about spinning the tube within the tyre. That would be bad. But these dunes are fine. Often I'll be in 5th gear like I am now. I'm in 2-wheel drive for most of the Madigan to conserve fuel and because we're not getting any wheel slip. As we come up to a dune, I will start to slow down a little bit, so I'll drop into 4th gear now. Make sure I'm a little bit more reactive, I guess, in case it starts to get really soft. All the dunes are different, but it's not been hard at all. So we're coming up, we're about 25 meters from beginning the ascent of the dune now. And from here I'll slow right down to 3rd gear. I'll engage 4-wheel drive. You can hear it clonking. So now we've got 4-wheel drive, 3rd gear. I'll get my revs up to 2,000 or more. And then just nice and slow, constant foot pressure. Straight up and then slow right down on the crest. Because usually coming down is when it gets really, really bumpy from the people gunning it up the other side. Have a little bit of a scout for camels. I'll take out 4-wheel drive, 3rd gear still, and then I'll just slowly descend down. using the exhaust brake to keep it really nice and slow so it doesn't throw the camper around too much, with the added benefit of smoothing all these bumps out for the next people to come through from this way. We're the good Samaritans of the track.
You're welcome.
But it's super simple, there's nothing to be afraid of. So we've been told by everyone that we heard say on YouTube or on blogs that Madigan Line is very, very difficult, should never be attempted alone, and that getting up the dunes was hard enough, let alone doing it from the way we're doing it. We haven't found it the case at all. With the right tyre pressure, I just don't think it's that hard. I think maybe people are talking it up a little bit. It's actually a really enjoyable experience. So we do encourage, if you can, get out and do the Madigan Line. Take it nice and slow, have the right tyre pressure, just treat it like a nice gentle safari.
Leaving Madigan Camp 17. We're supposed to maybe camp here for the night, but we decided to carry on a bit further. It is a beautiful spot though. It's probably the most beautiful official campsite we've seen so far, so if you do check it out. Lots of wildflowers, birds, beautiful spot. And now we are officially as well in the Northern Territory. So we left Queensland and yeah, here we are. It is my first time in this state, so I'm very excited to check it out. Chris came here 3 years ago by himself. He did a little trip actually with a mate as well. So he's seen a few places including Uluru, which I haven't. So yeah, that's going to be quite exciting to take this new state off the bucket list.
Alright, we've made it to camp 16. That stretch from 16 to 17 was about 25 kilometers. Was rough as guts. That took us ages. It was heaps of swaying, so you couldn't go fast at all. So here is camp 16. There's a little plaque. This marks camp 16. Cecil Madigan. During his epic journey across the central Simpson Desert in 1939, Madigan led 9 men and 19 camels onto this unexplored, trackless, waterless and extremely harsh environment. The journey took 25 days in total and was led by one of the last true explorers. Under the almost grown over bark is M39. So he carved his name into this, which is pretty awesome. M39. This is a visitor's book. Alright. I'll have to mark our name in this. Awesome. So if you come through here, you'll find mine and Angie's name. Make sure you mark yours, because that's awesome. Very, very cool. Amazing that in 1939 this oak must have just looked quite similar to this. Awesome. Alright, so I feel now is as good a time as any to make our big announcement. Now this is something that Ange and I have been talking about for actually a really long time now. We've finally decided to launch it. So without further ado, we would like to introduce to you the Outfits Grand Adventure Hunt. Alright, now the way this is going to work, we haven't decided exactly how often we'll run these, but probably maybe once a month. Ange and I are going to sponsor them at first, then maybe we'll be able to get some brands on board to help add to this prize pool as well. Now, the thing is, we are going to bury a prize somewhere along our travels that you will be able to follow some clues and then dig up the prize for yourself. Now, the way we're going to run it is we're going to have 3 total clues that will lead to each prize that we have buried. And that will be released 1 clue per video.
So you have to watch.
Somewhere within the video, not at the same time, so it's not going to be at the start or at the end. So you'll need to watch every video, you guys probably do anyway, and you will get a clue. So we're not going to bury the actual prize, but it will be a little note. A note from us that will enable you to fire us an email with the photo of you that has found the prize, and then we will coordinate the prize with you afterwards. And Ange and I are just going to sponsor this at first. Our first big prize that we would like to announce is a $150 voucher to a store of your choosing, and that store is picked out of either A, Bunnings, B, BCF, C, Anaconda, and D, Super Cheap Auto. We're not affiliated with these brands at all. That's just Ange and I thinking it's something that'll work. And we want it to be relatively kid-friendly as well. We'd love for you to get your kids on board if you do have children and turn it into a bit of a family affair. So clue number 1 for this first big prize, $150 voucher. We have buried it somewhere in the Simpson Desert. That is this week's clue. On the next video, we will tell you clue number 2. And yeah, we want it to be a cool thing, and we've got lofty ideas for this. We would love to get on board with some brands at some point and have really big prizes. Now, I understand it doesn't work so well for international people, but hopefully
we can travel.
Fingers crossed. We will either be able to do holidays overseas, or we will be able to even take Bowser overseas, and then we can start laying our little Easter eggs as we travel. So I want it to be a really good way to get you guys out and about, and yeah, maybe a bit of an incentive to go on a bit of an adventure.
Yeah, no, that's going to be cool, yeah. We can't wait, like, let us know your feedback as well. The rules will change as we go. I'm sure we'll make some improvement, but you're very excited to start that and kick off here in the Simpson Desert.
Can't wait, I'm so excited. Yeah. I'm really excited. All right.
So we'll see you next week. And we are starting next week the Hay River track. It's officially the end of the Madigan line.
We are pretty much officially halfway in the Simpson Desert for our trip. So we've got, similar amount of Ks, about, what was it, 250 kilometres more roughly?
A little bit less, yeah.
Until we are at the end. So we're on end of day 3, and 3 days to go. So join us next week. We're not too sure what the Hay River is going to bring. We've heard it can be really full on. So we'll see how we go. Cheers.